Focus. It's one of those words we hear so often that we stop hearing it at all. But I want you to consider with me what it really means. It means choosing one thing above all others. It means aligning every thought, every action, every moment toward a single purpose. It is the quiet power behind every truly successful life. Yet most people spend their days scattered, restless, pulled in every direction but their own. They drift through life like a ship without a rudder, hoping luck or circumstance will push them into port. But it doesn't work that way, because life doesn't reward the unfocused. It rewards those who know precisely where they are going. Now, before we go deeper, let me say something important. If you find value in what you're hearing, take a moment right now to like and subscribe, not just for me, but so that you keep this kind of thinking close at hand. We all need reminders of the truths that can change our lives, and this idea, mastering the quiet power of focus, can change yours. Because most people don't fail for lack of ability or even lack of opportunity. They fail because they never chose. They never decided on the single thing that would define their efforts, sharpen their vision, and carry them through the challenges ahead. You see, focus is not something imposed upon us by others. It's something we impose upon ourselves. It is self-direction, self-discipline, the conscious act of cutting away all that is non-essential. And that is difficult for most people to do. Why? Because it requires us to admit that we can't have it all, not at once. We can't do 100 things well. We can only do one thing well at a time, and that frightens us. We're afraid to choose, because choice means letting go. It means sacrificing the illusion of endless possibility for the reality of a single clear goal. But without that act of choosing, of focusing, there can be no success. Let me give you an image. Imagine a magnifying glass held in the sun. If you move it constantly, the light is warm, perhaps pleasant, but it never sets anything aflame. Yet if you hold it steady, if you focus it on one point without wavering, it will burn through anything in its path. That's the power of focus. Life will give you heat without focus, but it will only give you fire when you learn to hold still, to choose your target and remain fixed upon it. The great men and women of history were those who chose, who aimed all of themselves at one purpose, who refused distraction, who did not care about the scattered opinions of the crowd. You might ask, but what if I choose wrongly? What if I aim at the wrong goal? And I would say to you, it is better to choose and learn, to fail and choose again, than to drift forever. Because the habit of choosing, of focusing, will serve you even when the goal changes. The man who practices focus is ready to re-aim. The man who never focuses is forever lost. Success is not the result of luck or talent alone. It is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And that word progressive means movement in a single direction, not wandering but advancing, not hoping but working. Think about your own life. How many things are stealing your focus? How many demands, voices, expectations? How many half goals, half promises to yourself that you never kept? The world will always try to pull you away from your purpose. You have to refuse. You have to stand guard at the door of your mind. You have to say, this is what I am about. This is where I am going. And then you have to give it everything you have. Focus means saying yes to one thing and no to 1,000 others. It is the most difficult discipline and the most rewarding. We must also understand that there is a law at work here. It is as real as gravity. What we focus upon expands. What we think about, we become. If you focus on fears, you will breed them. If you focus on doubts, you will strengthen them. But if you focus on your goal, on your purpose, you will draw to yourself the resources, the ideas, the people you need. Your mind is a garden. Focus is the act of planting only what you want to harvest. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses. You cannot feed distractions and expect achievement. This is the law, and I want you to write it in the comments if you're willing to claim it for yourself. I am laser-focused on my purpose. I let nothing distract me. I become what I think about. This is not philosophy for the sake of philosophy. This is the blueprint for a different life. The quiet power of focus is not loud. It doesn't boast. It doesn't need to. It works silently, day after day, carving the future in the shape of your purpose. You will find that as you focus, you will lose many things, but none of them will matter. You will lose trivial worries, pointless drama, false friends, wasted time. You will find instead clarity, strength, peace of mind, and in the end, success itself. Because you will have built your life as an act of intention. You will have chosen who you are, rather than accepting what the world tried to make of you. Let's talk about discipline, a word that for many conjures images of punishment or denial, but in truth is the doorway to freedom, to mastery, to everything worthwhile in life. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and then follow it. It is the practice of honoring your own word to yourself. Without discipline, there can be no lasting success, no peace of mind, no true independence. Most people live at the mercy of their moods, their appetites, their whims. They do what they feel like doing, when they feel like doing it, and they wonder why life seems to hand them nothing but confusion and disappointment. Discipline is what separates the 5% who achieve from the 95% who merely wish. Now, if you're committed to building this discipline in yourself, if you want to make sure you keep these ideas close and keep your mind sharp and focused on your goals, I invite you right now to like and subscribe. Do it as a small act of discipline, as a way of proving to yourself that you can make a choice and follow through on it. Because change does not come from hearing good ideas once. It comes from hearing them again and again, until they become part of you, until they shape the way you see the world and the way you act in it. Discipline begins with small things, and it grows. People often think of discipline as some cruel burden, but in fact it is a gift. It is the key that unlocks all other doors. Without discipline, you are a slave to your environment, to other people's expectations, to your own untrained impulses. But with discipline, you become the master of your own fate. You can choose your goals and pursue them without being diverted. You can hold to your standards even when it's hard. You can sacrifice immediate pleasure for long-term gain. Every great achievement in human history has been built on discipline. Every meaningful life has required it. It is the price you pay for greatness. Think about the athlete who rises before dawn to train, the musician who practices for hours each day, the scientist who spends years on a single problem. None of them can rely on feeling like it every day. They have built discipline into their lives so they can act whether they feel like it or not. And this is true for you as well. If you want a better body, a better career, a better mind, a better life, you must first build better habits. And habits are built by discipline. By doing the right thing repeatedly until it becomes second nature, until it becomes who you are. There is a law here as clear and unbreakable as gravity. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. Your actions shape your identity. Each act of discipline is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. Each time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you strengthen the muscle of your will, and that muscle will serve you in every area of your life. But ignore it. Let it atrophy, and you will find yourself at the mercy of circumstances, tossed on the winds of chance. That is not the life you want, and you don't have to accept it. Discipline does not mean perfection. It does not mean you will never falter or fail, but it means you will not quit. It means you will get back up. It means you will learn and improve. The disciplined person is not the one who never falls, but the one who rises every time, who holds fast to the vision of what they want, even when it's difficult. Who understands that pain and struggle are part of the process, not something to be avoided, but something to be used, transformed into strength, into wisdom, into character. I want you to remember this. Discipline is freedom. It is the freedom to choose your own path, rather than be pushed down someone else's. It is the freedom to act with intention instead of reaction. It is the freedom to build a life that reflects your values and your dreams. The undisciplined are not free. They are prisoners of their desires, their fears, their laziness. They are slaves to the easiest choice in every moment. But you can be different. You can choose the harder path now so that you may walk the easier path later. So I want to challenge you right now to make a commitment. Comment this below to declare it, to make it real for yourself. I am disciplined. I do what I say. I build my future. Write it, speak it, remember it. Let it become your standard. Because when you hold yourself to this standard, you change, and when you change, everything around you changes as well. Discipline is not a single act, but a way of life, a way of being, and it starts with a decision you can make right now. Finally, understand that discipline is contagious. When you live it, others see it. They are inspired by it. They trust you more. They respect you more. Because they see in you what they want for themselves, a person who is not ruled by weakness or fear, but who commands his own life. Be that example. Be that leader, even if it's only for yourself at first. Because the world needs more people with this strength, and you have it within you to become one of them. Let's turn our attention now to the idea of vision. Not vague wishes or idle daydreams, but clear, powerful vision, the kind that acts as a compass for your life. Vision is what gives direction to discipline. It is what makes focus meaningful. Without vision, even the most determined action is aimless. A man with no vision is like a ship at sea with no chart, no destination, no lighthouse to guide him through storms. He may be moving, but he is lost. Vision is the ability to see in your mind what does not yet exist in the world. It is the commitment to make that vision real through the steady application of effort, wisdom, and faith. The greatest achievements of humanity began as someone's vision, a thought, a belief, a possibility that refused to die. If you're finding value in these reflections, if you want to keep this kind of thinking close at hand to help you clarify your own vision and stay true to it, I encourage you now to like and subscribe. Think of it as a small but important step, a way to remind yourself that you are serious about shaping your future intentionally. Because vision is not something that simply appears. It must be cultivated, returned to, refined. The mind must be reminded again and again of where it is going, or it will wander. This moment of subscribing is your signal to yourself that you will not let your vision slip away in the noise of the world. Consider how most people approach their goals. They don't really have them. Or if they do, they are blurry, shifting, forgotten as soon as they encounter difficulty. They say things like, "I want to be successful," without defining what success means to them. They say, "I want to be happy," but never decide what happiness actually requires. Because they refuse to do the hard work of defining their vision, they remain at the mercy of chance, of circumstance, of other people's plans. They wake each day with no clear purpose and then wonder why life feels empty or chaotic. They drift, and drifting is the enemy of achievement. Vision requires specificity. It requires you to choose to say, "This is what I want. This is who I will become. This is the life I will create." It requires you to be honest with yourself about what matters most to you. And that is not easy, because as soon as you choose one path, you must give up others. You must accept responsibility for your choice. You can no longer blame the world for where you end up. Vision is an act of courage. It says, "I will decide. I will aim. I will steer this ship. Even if the sea is rough, even if the wind is against me, I will hold my course." There is a great truth in this. The clearer your vision, the stronger your motivation. When you know exactly what you want, you find reasons to act. You find energy you didn't know you had. You are willing to sacrifice, to endure, to persist. But when your vision is vague or absent, the smallest obstacle will stop you. Discipline crumbles, focus dissipates. You lose your reason for pushing forward. That is why the first step toward any great achievement is defining your vision, writing it down, revisiting it daily, making it so clear in your mind that it is as real to you as anything you can touch or see. I want to give you something practical. Take time today to write out your vision. Don't be vague. Don't be modest. Be specific. Be bold. Describe the life you want in detail. Where you will live. What kind of work you will do. What kind of relationships you will have. What kind of person you will be. Then look at this vision every morning. Let it guide your choices. Let it remind you of what matters. Because you will face distractions, temptations, setbacks. Only a clear, compelling vision will keep you on course when everything else seems easier than continuing. And understand this law. You move toward what you think about. If your thoughts are consumed with your vision, you will move toward it even if you can't see the path immediately. Opportunities will appear. Ideas will come. The right people will cross your path. This is not magic, it is focus. It is the selective awareness of the mind, trained to see what serves the goal and ignore what does not. But if your thoughts are scattered, your results will be scattered. If your thoughts are aimless, your life will be aimless. The world always responds to clarity. It respects those who know where they are going. I want you to claim this truth for yourself right now. Write it down, speak it aloud, or share it in the comments to commit to it fully. I have a clear vision. I see my future, and I move toward it. Let that be your promise, your reminder, your guiding principle. Because vision is not something you discover once and forget. It is something you must return to daily. It is the light that cuts through the fog of doubt, fear, and distraction. It is the star you steer by when the night is dark. It is the reason you endure, the reason you sacrifice, the reason you act. And remember, vision without action is merely fantasy, but vision with action is destiny. Let your vision be so compelling that you cannot help but act. Let it be so clear that you cannot forget it. Let it be so strong that nothing can shake you from it. And in time, you will look back and see that the life you are living is the one you once imagined. That is the power you hold. That is the gift of being human. That is the promise of vision. Let's talk about action, because all the vision, focus, discipline, and belief in the world mean nothing without it. Action is the bridge between the world you imagine and the world you live in. It is the only way to make the invisible visible, to make dreams real, to transform thought into results. Yet it is where so many stop short. They plan, they dream, they talk about what they'll do someday. But someday never comes, because without decisive, consistent action, nothing changes. Action is the ultimate test of commitment. It is where you prove not to others but to yourself that you mean what you say, that you're willing to pay the price to have the life you want. Now, if you're committed to being the kind of person who acts, who does not merely dream but builds, I invite you to like and subscribe right now. Do it not for me, but for yourself, as a small act of action, as a way to reinforce this truth in your mind, that you are a person who doesn't just think about change, but initiates it. Because it's easy to listen and nod in agreement. It's much harder to do. But the doing is everything. It is the price of entry to a better life. Consider how many people wait for the right time to act. They say, I'll start when I have more money, more time, more confidence, but the right time never comes. Because the right time is not something you wait for, it is something you choose. Action does not wait on perfect conditions. In fact, the act of moving forward is what creates better conditions. When you act, you learn, you adapt, you improve. Waiting teaches you nothing. Only doing reveals the truth. Only doing shows you what works and what doesn't. Only doing changes you from who you are into who you want to become. There is a great law here. The universe rewards action, not intentions, not plans, not good thoughts alone, but action. Every time you take a step toward your goal, you set forces in motion that you cannot fully predict or control. Opportunities appear, people respond, resources align, the world bends, just a little to meet you halfway. But it will not do so until you move first. You must go first. That is the cost. That is the price. The universe respects the person who acts, because action is faith made real. It is belief wearing work boots. It is the tangible evidence of commitment. Action also breeds confidence. So many think they need to feel confident before they act. But confidence is not the cause of action. It is the result. The man who acts despite fear discovers that he can. The woman who moves forward despite doubt finds that doubt fades with each step. Action dissolves fear, because it replaces imagination with experience. It gives you data, proof, feedback. It transforms the unknown into the known. Without action, fear grows. It festers. But with action, fear shrinks. This is why the most successful people are not those without fear, but those who act in spite of it. I want you to make this practical. Think right now about one thing you've been putting off. One action you know you need to take, but haven't. It might be small, it might be large, but choose one. Decide right now that you will do it today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, because nothing changes until you do. Nothing moves until you move. You are the prime mover in your own life. No one is coming to do it for you. This is your responsibility. And it is also your power. The moment you act, you take control. You change the story. Remember this law. The smallest action is always better than the grandest intention. Don't wait to have the perfect plan. Don't wait to be certain. Start. Begin. Take the first step, however humble it may seem, because progress is built one action at a time. Success is not the result of a single grand gesture, but of countless small, consistent actions over time. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You don't need to know the whole path to begin the journey. Just move, and the path will reveal itself as you go. So I want you to claim this truth for yourself right now. Write it down, say it aloud, or share it in the comments to make it real. I am a person of action. I move. I build. I achieve. Let that be your commitment, your mantra, your promise to yourself, because action is what will separate you from the masses who only talk. It is what will make you stand out. It is what will make your dreams real. And in the end, it is what will allow you to look back on your life with pride, knowing you did not just wish, but that you did. Let's talk about service, because all the discipline, focus, vision, belief, and action in the world will mean very little if they serve only yourself. True success is always measured by the value you bring to others. Service is the law upon which all prosperity is built. It is the foundation of every lasting achievement. Yet this is a truth so many ignore. They chase money, recognition, power, forgetting that these are not causes but effects. They are the natural results of providing meaningful service. The person who serves better, who serves more people, who serves with greater care and imagination, will always prosper in the end. It is a law as sure as gravity. If you find meaning in this message and want to keep returning to these ideas that ground you in purpose, take a moment to like and subscribe, not just for me, but for you, as a way to say, I choose to remember what matters. I choose to keep service at the center of my goals, because it is easy to forget, easy to be distracted by the glitter of rewards while neglecting the work that earns them. But you cannot cheat this law. You cannot harvest without sowing. You cannot receive without first giving. And you cannot truly prosper without serving. Most people have it backwards. They say, when I have money, I will serve. When I am successful, I will help others. But they have reversed the order. The law is clear. You must serve first. You must create value first. The income you earn is a direct reflection of the value you provide. If you want more, you must give more. If you want better rewards, you must offer better service. This is true in business, in relationships, in life itself. Service is not charity alone. It is the act of solving problems, meeting needs, making life better for others in ways large and small. Think of the greatest businesses in the world. They did not grow because they demanded payment first. They grew because they found better ways to serve. They asked, what does the customer need? How can we deliver it better, faster, cheaper, more beautifully? And they built fortunes by answering those questions with relentless dedication. The same principle applies to you, whatever your work may be. The professional who learns more, who thinks deeper, who cares more about his client will always do better than the one who merely shows up for a paycheck, because people know when they are being served well, and they return to it, they recommend it, they reward it. There is another dimension to service. It is not only what you do, but how you do it. You may have the same role as someone else, but the attitude you bring transforms it entirely. You can choose to see your work as drudgery or as a form of service that elevates you and those around you. You can choose to complain about customers or to learn from them. You can resent the effort required or embrace it as the price you pay for excellence. The attitude of service is humble, but not weak. It understands that serving others well is the surest path to serving yourself. There is a great law at work here, one you would do well to write down and remember. Your rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to your service. Not almost, not sometimes, always. If you want to test this, simply look at any area of your life where you are not satisfied. Ask yourself, how am I serving here? How could I serve better? You will find the answer, and you will know what to do. This is not about blame, it is about power. Because if you can improve your service, you can improve your rewards, you can change your results, you can transform your future. I want you to take this idea and make it personal. Right now, commit to it in writing, in speech, or in the comments so you claim it publicly. I serve with excellence. I earn by giving value. I am committed to others' success. Let this be your declaration, your standard, your promise, because when you live by this, you will never lack for opportunity. You will never have to chase success. It will come to you, drawn by the magnet of your service, because the world rewards those who make it better. That is the law, and you cannot escape it. Remember also that service is not just about money, it is about legacy, about the mark you leave on the world, about the way people remember you. Did you lift them up or drag them down? Did you make things easier or harder? Did you bring light or spread darkness? These are the real questions, because when all is said and done, you will be measured not by what you took, but by what you gave. And those who gave the most will have lived the richest lives, not only in wealth, but in meaning, in connection, in peace of mind. So choose service. Make it the foundation of all you do. Let it guide your plans, shape your goals, define your actions, and you will find that success is not something you chase, but something you attract naturally, inevitably. Because service is the price, the path, and the reward, all at once. Let's talk about the power of belief. Not idle wishing, not blind optimism, but the deep, unwavering conviction that you can achieve what you set out to do. Belief is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without it, every effort is half-hearted, every plan is tentative, every dream is fragile. Belief is the soil in which vision takes root, in which discipline finds its reason, in which focus becomes unbreakable. If you do not believe you can have the life you want, you will never do the work required to build it. You will sabotage yourself at every turn. But if you do believe, truly believe, then no obstacle can stop you for long. Belief transforms intention into reality. If these words resonate with you, if you want to strengthen your own belief and keep returning to the truths that can shape your life, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Do it not just as a passive gesture, but as an act of commitment, as a signal to yourself that you will continue to nourish your mind with ideas that strengthen you, that you will not let your environment or your doubts dictate who you become. Because belief must be fed constantly. It must be renewed daily. And these reminders, these teachings, can serve as fuel for your own growth. Think about how many people live their entire lives limited not by their circumstances, but by their beliefs about what is possible for them. They say things like, "I could never do that. People like me don't succeed. It's too late for me. I'm not smart enough. I'm not lucky enough." These are not truths. They are excuses, masquerading as facts. They are self-imposed prisons, built one thought at a time. And what is tragic is that most people don't even know they're doing it. They accept these limiting beliefs because they have heard them so often from others, from society, from their own unexamined fears, that they mistake them for reality. But belief is a choice, a practice. It is something you can cultivate. You can choose to challenge every thought that tells you no. You can choose to replace every doubt with determination. You can choose to see obstacles not as proof of failure, but as tests of your resolve. The person who believes in their goal, in their capacity to achieve it, will persist where others quit. They will find solutions where others see only problems. They will endure hardships without losing heart, because their belief is a promise they have made to themselves, one they refuse to break. There is a great law here. You do not get what you want. You get what you believe. If you believe you are worthy of success, you will act in ways that make success inevitable. If you believe you deserve failure, you will find ways to fail. The mind is always seeking to prove itself right. It will find evidence for whatever you tell it is true. If you say, "I can't," your mind will obediently provide all the reasons why you can't. If you say, "I can," it will begin to show you the path. This is why guarding your thoughts is not just helpful, it is essential. Belief is not pretending everything is easy. It is not ignoring difficulty. It is acknowledging the challenge and choosing to face it anyway. It is saying, "This will be hard, I may fail, but I will not give up. I will not back down. I will keep going until I succeed." Belief is the engine that drives persistence. Without it, the first obstacle ends your journey. With it, no obstacle can defeat you, because you know that failure is not final. It is feedback. It is education. It is simply another step on the path. I want you to do something right now. Declare your belief. Write it down. Speak it aloud or share it in the comments so you claim it publicly. I believe in myself. I believe in my vision. I will make it real. Make this your affirmation, your rallying cry. Repeat it until it feels like truth, because in time it will be. The more you say it, the more you act upon it, the more real it becomes. You will begin to see yourself differently. Others will see you differently too, because belief has a way of revealing itself in your words, your posture, your actions, your results. Remember, no one else can believe for you. Others can encourage you, support you, even inspire you. But ultimately, belief is an inside job. It is the quiet decision you make when no one is watching. It is the standard you hold yourself to when there is no applause, no reward except the knowledge that you are staying true to yourself. And this is what separates those who live remarkable lives from those who merely exist. They chose to believe when it was hard. They chose to keep going when it was easier to quit. They chose to see possibility where others saw only limitation. So I challenge you. Feed your belief daily. Surround yourself with ideas, with people, with reminders that strengthen it. Guard your mind from those who would undermine it. Refuse to entertain thoughts that diminish you. Cultivate the kind of belief that can move mountains, not because the mountain disappears, but because you become the kind of person who can climb it. That is the promise of belief. That is its power, and it is available to you right now if you will claim it. Let's talk now about mastery of self. For all the principles we have discussed, calm, preparation, service, deliberate speech are meaningless without this foundation. Mastery of self is the true mark of the respected person. It is what sets apart the leader from the follower, the teacher from the student, the professional from the amateur. Because until you can command yourself, you cannot command anything else. The person who cannot master his emotions will be ruled by them. The one who cannot direct his thoughts will be directed by others. Mastery of self is the unshakable center from which all other virtues radiate. Most people live in reaction. They react to news, to gossip, to provocation, to fear, to the moods of others. They are pushed and pulled by forces they barely recognize, much less control. And they call this living. But it is not living, it is drifting. It is surrendering the helm of your ship to every gust of wind. The person who practices mastery of self refuses this. He says, I will not be ruled by anger. I will not be a puppet for fear. I will choose my thoughts. I will choose my actions. He stands apart because he stands within himself. He becomes the calm in the storm, the voice of reason when others shout, the steady hand when others tremble. This is not about suppressing emotions or pretending not to feel. It is about recognizing them without surrendering to them. Anger will visit you. Fear will knock on your door. Doubt will whisper in your ear. But you decide whether they enter and make themselves at home. You can feel these things fully while refusing to let them dictate your words or deeds. That is mastery. It is the pause between stimulus and response, the breath you take before speaking, the moment you choose reflection over reaction. It is the deliberate decision to act from purpose, not from impulse. Consider how rare this is. Think about your workplace, your relationships, your community. How many people truly control themselves? How many pause before they speak? How many resist the urge to blame, attack, defend, excuse? Few indeed. And that is why the person who can remain calm, measured, and intentional stands out immediately. That is why such people are trusted with leadership, with responsibility, with the secrets and hopes of others. Because people know instinctively that mastery of self is the first requirement of mastering anything else. Understand this clearly. Mastery is not a destination, but a practice. You will never arrive at perfect control. You will fail at times. You will speak harshly when you meant to be gentle. You will act rashly when you meant to be measured. But these moments are not proof of failure. They are opportunities to learn. Each slip is a lesson. Each mistake is feedback. The person committed to mastery welcomes these lessons, reflects on them, and tries again. This is how mastery is built. Not in grand declarations, but in small daily choices. For the next 30 days, I challenge you to practice mastery of self in every situation. When someone insults you, pause. When fear rises, breathe. When anger flares, choose your words carefully. When doubt appears, replace it with faith. Do not expect perfection. Expect practice. Expect growth. And watch how your relationships change. Watch how your reputation grows. Watch how your influence expands. Because the world cannot help but respect the person who respects himself enough to master his own mind and heart. Write this in the comments now to claim it. I master myself. I choose my response. I command respect through discipline. Let these words be your promise, your reminder, your standard. Because when you can master yourself, you can master your work, your relationships, your destiny. You will no longer be the victim of circumstance, but its architect. You will shape your future deliberately rather than drift toward disappointment. And in doing so, you will become the person others look to when times are hard, when clarity is needed, when leadership matters most. This is not easy. It is not quick, but it is worth everything. Because the one who conquers himself is greater than the one who conquers a city. And when you walk through life with mastery of self, you will find you need not demand respect. It will be given to you freely, naturally, inevitably. Now that we have spoken of calm, service, deliberate speech, preparation, listening, and mastery of self, let us bring all of these together into one final truth. Your life is the cumulative expression of your daily habits. There is no destiny apart from what you do repeatedly, no greatness without consistent action, no respect without the steady practice of virtues that command it. This is the reality that many resist because it denies them easy answers and quick fixes. But for those who embrace it, it is the ultimate source of power and freedom, because habits are choices made automatic. They are the disciplines you no longer have to force because they have become part of who you are. When you make calm a habit, you no longer have to remind yourself in every moment to breathe before reacting. It becomes your natural state. When you make listening a habit, you no longer have to fight the urge to interrupt. It becomes instinct to hear others fully. When you make preparation a habit, you no longer have to scramble at the last moment. You are always ready. When you make deliberate speech a habit, your words carry weight without effort. When you make service a habit, you find opportunities to help without thinking. When you make mastery of self a habit, you become the kind of person who does not need to prove his power because he embodies it. Most people want to change their results without changing their habits. They want success without sacrifice. They want respect without discipline. But life does not work that way. It never has. It rewards those who are willing to do the work daily even when no one is watching, even when no applause is given, even when it is hard. Because every day is training. Every choice is a vote for the person you wish to become. If you choose anger, complaint, laziness, blame, those are the muscles you strengthen. If you choose calm, patience, preparation, service, those are the muscles you grow. The question is never whether you are training. It is what you are training for. Understand this clearly. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Your goals show your desire, but your habits show your commitment. You can want respect, but if you practice disrespect, you will never receive it. You can want success, but if you practice shortcuts, you will sabotage it. You can want calm, but if you practice outrage, you will live in conflict. This is the uncomfortable truth most will not accept. But those who do gain power over their destiny, because they realize that if they do not like their results, they can change their habits. And in changing their habits, they change everything. So ask yourself honestly, what habits am I practicing? What am I making automatic in my life? What am I training myself to be? Am I reinforcing fear or faith, anger or calm, laziness or discipline, selfishness or service? These questions require courage because they reveal the gap between what we say we want and what we actually do. But that gap is also the place of opportunity, because once you see it, you can begin to close it. You can choose new habits. You can decide to train differently. And in doing so, you rewrite your future. For the next 30 days, I want you to focus on building the habits that will serve you for a lifetime. Wake each morning with intention. Review your goals, practice gratitude, plan your day. Speak with care, listen fully, serve generously. Reflect at night on what you did well and what you will improve tomorrow. Do this not for others to see, but for yourself, because you are building the foundation on which everything else rests. These habits will become your allies in times of stress, your guides in times of confusion, your shield in times of conflict. They will be the reason people respect you even when you say little. Make this your final commitment in this series. Write it in the comments now so you see it and remember it. I build habits that command respect. I train daily for the life I desire. Say it out loud, write it down, place it where you will see it each morning. Let it be the standard you hold yourself to. Because this is the truth. The life you want is waiting for you on the other side of your daily choices. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the architect of your destiny, and your habits are the bricks you lay each day. As we close this journey together, I want you to remember this. No one will do it for you. No one can live your life for you. No one can build your habits for you, but you have everything you need within you. The mind, the will, the vision, the faith. Use them, choose them, train them, and watch as the world responds in kind. This is the promise of life. This is the law that cannot be broken. Act as if calm commands respect, because it does. Live as if service leads to success, because it will. Speak as if your words have weight, because they do. And build your habits so that respect is not something you chase, but something you attract effortlessly, naturally, inevitably. Before you go, if this message has helped you, if it has inspired you even a little, take a moment to share it, to leave a comment, to subscribe or follow so you continue to receive these reminders. Let us build a community committed to living by these timeless truths. Let us remind each other of what matters when the world tries to make us forget, because together we can raise the standard for ourselves and for those who look to us for guidance. I thank you for listening, for caring enough to grow, and for committing to this path. Remember, calm commands respect, and so do you.